5, I bet. And I should
Shame
have.
on you, Pookie,
Um,
for listening to me.
um, yeah, med time. 1 second.
Med time.
Uh,
Yeah, that's another thing. I was late with my meds this morning. It's like 4 hours late, too. So, with the
Sorry.
medication 3 times a day, right? So, 8 hours apart, 4 hours late. The rule of thumb is if you're closer to your dose time, take the missed dose. If you're closer to the next dose, then just skip and wait and don't double up. So it's like right on the knife's edge. What do you do? Right? Four
Flip a
Mm,
hours.
coin.
I don't know. I took it. So yeah.
That might have been the best choice considering all the seizures you've had recently.
Yes. Yes.
Because adding a missed dose on top of that could be not good.
What, yeah. What did I say? 6 or 8? 8, I think. 8. 6. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8. That was it. Yeah. But one of them was a bitty one. So I can weasel in my mind down to 7 seizures. Um, which isn't that big of a deal either. That's less of a deal than 8 seizures. And I already said 8 seizures wasn't a big deal.
yeah.
But it
The
broke
more the
my
better, I
streak.
guess.
It broke my streak. I had gone from May 22nd up to June 5th. Or June 15th. So I almost got 3 weeks without a seizure. If the Florida standard is 12 months seizure free to get the license back, nah,
I'm not gonna make it. So
no, I'm not gonna.
unless they
I'm not.
say 2 months and 12 days. If I go 3 months, it's
Yeah.
very unlikely I can make it 2 months
Yeah.
and some days. Other than that, I'm
Unless,
never gonna get my license back.
yeah,
I don't really
unless
want it
a
anymore.
law is passed that says that vehicles equipped with like auto driving, full self-driving or something where you're not driving the car itself. All you do is like intervene if the car is missing something, but that's just in the odd case. And you're not gonna, if you see, whatever, you're not in control anyway. Um, and if cars auto self-driving gets smart enough to realize the difference between that kind of dramatic, a seizure sort of level. Because, yeah, as while I was saying that, I realized, well, what if you're in the driver's seat and then you seize and, in doing so, you swerve the steering wheel and stomp on the gas pedal and what, right? Like, how would the car's autopilot know that's
Don't
not
pay
you
attention.
intervening for like safety reasons or something? We would need some way to be able to connect that. But if a law is someday passed that permits like a special second class driver's license where, specifically enabled vehicles with safety features that can, um, you know,
Like,
basically
we'll give
No,
you a license to
drive
drive
themselves.
autonomous
Yeah,
cars.
that would, that would be, oh my goodness. What do you guys think? Am I just pipe dreaming? Am I alone in this? Like,
Um,
is
if
this
they want to
something
get,
that you would not trust? Or is it no,
um,
you would not?
I
I
think I'm
would
too
not.
trusting. I might.
Technically, I could go apply for my driver's license back because I haven't had a seizure since last middle of September, and the law is 6 months here, but I still don't trust it. It's one of those that could happen any day, and I sure don't want to put anyone else's life at risk.
Yeah, but that's
Yeah.
not what I'm talking about. Like, go out right now and do it. This is like the thought exercise. If a law was
I
passed
would
where, and by, if a law was passed, that would mean that it would have to be at a point where this technology is
very
uh,
far advanced.
far advanced enough and safe enough that it gets to a point where it's actually a question of, do these people currently disenfranchised of a driving privilege that is important to life in our current society? Do they deserve a pathway to be able to get that back? And if there is a means to do so, like a bill drafted up. So it's under a few assumptions. I'm not asking would you go and get into a Tesla and like let it take you to the grocery store, um, which I would not either, just because I don't know.
Even
Even
like
if they come
Elon,
out with this technology, none of us are going to be able to afford it.
Well, you never know. Good old Elon may be forced to, now that he's the world's first trillionaire, right? With his big SpaceX bucks, he may be forced to provide some sort of universal basic income for all of um, these robots. What do they call them? This Optimus robot or whatever, the SpaceX humanoid robots that he says are going to be replacing all kinds of manual labor jobs on top of the AIs replacing all of these white collar jobs. I mean, he basically wants to have everything in the job market. So if he does that, he's going to basically, what's he going to, right? People are
Why
going to
is he trying to
revolt.
put
So,
everyone out of work?
right, yeah. But people are going to revolt if everybody goes out of work. So that concept has already been floated. It's been floated ever since I recall hearing about it back in the 90s and stuff, where there was already talk um I mean, I was just a kid, I had heard it trickle down from like internet forums, like sci-fi people talking about when
Matrix
AI
is what
gets
comes to
so,
mind.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know if the Matrix mentioned anything about universal income, but I don't know. It's not a new concept, but it's new that it is starting to be discussed, like seriously considered. So if all of these people get, replaced, how do you make sure that everybody can still eat and afford stuff and whatnot. And so issue everybody a certain paycheck for breathing, basically, so that they can eat and get a house and stuff. I mean, honestly, it's kind of basically communist framed with or communism framed with capitalist language in a nutshell. There's slight differences to it. That's an oversimplification, but basically, all are provided a means to survival by the government, um, while a certain percentage manages that, like, I don't know, not communism
Something.
in its like pure uh, ideology as written by Marx, but um, communism certainly has unfolded anywhere and everywhere it has ever been tried. Communism and socialism. It's always just been, a disaster. Um, but yeah, I, I don't know. This is a weird
I
rant.
read something that said Elon could give everybody in Europe 90 pounds and that would split up his money.
Right. Well, that kind of misunderstands or yeah, that's a misunderstanding of net worth. When they say he's the world's first trillionaire, it doesn't mean he can go to a bank and
But
like look at his bank, like his savings and checking accounts and see $1 trillion in there and be able to withdraw whatever amount, you know,
yeah,
or wire transfer or whatever. It's um, total total net worth. So it's his the stock that he owns in the company. That's how it went. He went over that $1 trillion mark. It's not like he sold stock in SpaceX and whatever. It's the SpaceX stock went up in value so much that what he already owned in the stock, pushed that net worth value over $1 trillion. He didn't buy anything more. He didn't sell any of his stock. He didn't build anything new compared to the day before. It's just, the value of something he already owned, which they factor into this calculation, it just increased. And so, so what? Elon Musk becoming richer does not make me any poorer. I don't understand why a lot of people have this sort of mentality where the rich are richer than they have been at any point in history. Sure, the richest of the rich Americans are more wealthy than they have been at any point. But the lowest income bracket of America, the poorest of Americans, are also richer than they have been at any point in history. It's across the board. Everything has been raised. The baseline is higher. Um,
It would be
so,
nice if they would raise the income and lower the cost of living, though.
well, these are not things that can simply be adjusted with the turn of a knob on
Oh, I
some
know.
big. capitalism control board. I mean, it really would be lovely if that were possible, but
Yes.
there's it's I don't know. And it's not purely capitalism that we live under. Honestly, even America isn't the most capitalist country in the world. Um, the World Economic Freedom Index ranks America like number 10 or 11, I think, in terms of, let me see, at least it was the last time I checked. Um,
What's at the top?
Nordic countries. I think it was Norway and Sweden up at the top were had um, um, the least restrictions, the lowest corporate taxes, the most um, capitalist friendly, um, overall economy. Uh, there we go. Freedom Index, I think.
Yeah.
Okay, top four countries this year. Wait, okay, rankings for all countries. Mm, wait, where is? I'm sorry, for the dead air. I'm trying to find where it just gives the raw, um,
We're gonna jump in, but
yeah,
it's all right.
the raw numbers. I mean, top four countries. Number one, Singapore. Number two, Switzerland. Number three, Ireland. Number four, Australia. Um, uh, where is yeah, I don't know how far down. I don't want to read this whole. They want me to view the heat map or something.
Um, I got something if you can't find it.
Uh,
Um, I'll let you finish. Um,
yeah,
Anybody out there
well,
watching? Thumbs up will support us.
it's fine. We don't need to know where the US is on it to know that it's not the top. Canada is above the United States in this list. Um, yeah, Ireland is above. Australia is higher. Where is? Um, yeah, they're not giving it in a nice, easy list thing. They want this big table and split it up into this all of these different individual indices, and I just am not gonna have that. I don't have time for that. Oh wait, here we go. Singapore, Switzerland, Ireland, Australia, Taiwan, Luxembourg, Denmark, Norway, Estonia, the Netherlands, Sweden, New Zealand, Finland, Canada, Lithuania, Iceland, Chile, Cyprus, South Korea, Czech Republic, Maurit wait, Mauritius. I'm sorry, I don't know how that. I haven't heard of that country before, even. Mauritius. Mauritius? Yes. Anyone listening, if you know how to pronounce it, tell me I'm an idiot in the comments.
It's in East
At
Africa.
number 22 is the United States out of oh, I don't-
That's
total.
interesting.
Yeah, it's something a lot of people don't really realize uh, that well, they take it for granted that because America's always been called land of the free, that, well, economically free, right? We've been told
Mm.
we live in capitalist country, so, must be true, right? I mean, it is capitalist, especially compared to most of the rest of the world, but we're not the capitalistist country. And I find it really interesting that a lot of people who complain about capitalism, decry capitalism in the United States, and want to, leave the United States, would prefer to live in some other country other than the United States because of policies they fear being enacted by um, Republicans, conservative leaders, because
Yeah.
capitalism is bad and Republican is the party of capitalism, Norway, Denmark, top of those lists, uh, top
I
of
was
this
talking to
list.
somebody on
Good.
Reddit,
They're,
and
they're
he was
fleeing.
saying, "Oh, go ahead."
Yeah, in the name of fleeing capitalism, they flee to some of the most capitalist countries. Is in um so yeah, I don't know. It's the world is a crazy place.
Yes, it is.
Definitely. I was talking to someone on Reddit about um, he was in another subreddit. He made a post and he said, "What country should I go to? I need to get out of Algeria."
Ooh.
And then I was like, "Don't go to the U.S." And he was like, He's like, "That was my first thought." He was like, "You guys don't even like your president. Why would I go there?" And I was like, "Makes sense." And when I put "makes sense," that post got so many downvotes. I tried deleting it just so, but the downvotes don't go away.
What? Wait, what happened? I'm confused.
I made that post. Well, I commented on that post and I
Hmm.
said, "Don't go to the US." And he said, "That was my first thought." And said, "Why would I go to the US? You guys don't even like your president."
And you saying makes sense.
I said, "Makes sense." And that got downvoted. Yes, that.
I don't know.
Why?
How
I
is
don't
that
know.
any more negative about it's just like I don't get
No
Reddit.
idea.
I don't get Reddit.
It's a bunch of invisible
Maybe you
people's
triggered some bot,
opinion.
or yeah, some crawler, Reddit crawler bot found it and flagged it, and it sent an auto team to go dogpile on.
Yeah, because it was 15 people.
Was the first one downvoted too? Don't come to
No,
America? No?
Just the second one. I didn't understand that, just like you're saying.
Yeah.
But
So
That doesn't make
if it
sense.
was, yeah, if it was a genuine thing, then they would presumably both be downvoted. But
right.
I don't know. It's
We don't even like our
usually a
president.
pretty safe assumption anywhere on Reddit that um anything conservative will immediately draw um unrestrained ire and hostility, and if not outright banning. Um, so it's surprising that just saying don't come to America would be like with the Trump administration saying don't come here, they you get deported again by ICE, right? Unless they're like the pro-migrant trying to get as many people in
Mhm.
as possible, and you're countering their agenda by saying don't come here. Don't come help change the voting dynamic. Don't,
Um, I don't know why they dislike that, but that so much. But yeah, like you said,
yeah.
it could have been a bot, but it was -15 before I deleted it. I
Which
haven't
is
checked
not,
since.
yeah, this is not an organic response to that sort of, yeah. I, I don't know.
Um,
I don't get it.
we'll never get people on the internet, Mark. Um, you're not meant to. That's why they don't have a profile picture.
Well, that was the way of things forever on the internet until Facebook, and even after Facebook for a long time, until the Zoomers started coming of age and them having grown up with their parents posting their every move on the parents' Facebook pages as if the child's life events were the parents' own milestones, which they were to a certain extent, but it gave the kids no agency of their own, no sense of, freedom to form their own identity like that. Their own, yeah. So yeah, it's weird. And now I, as a millennial, have been attacked for using an anonymous name in several cases, as being like sketchy, creepy, weird. You know, the fact that I hide behind a screen name, a username, as opposed to sharing, publicly sharing. I'm like, dude,
Even better, I don't know who it was because it isn't like Facebook where they tell you who liked your photo or your
yeah,
comment. Uh,
yeah. But a lot of Redditors attach like their Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, all right up in their Reddit profiles and stuff, and treat it as if it's just another social media platform. Um, I don't know. I always thought that it was you know, a weird, like, kind of hybrid news aggregator slash internet forum kind of, if yeah.
I don't like putting all my business out there like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know some a couple of people who have inst- they have Instagrams for their children, like you said, like documenting their whole lives and stuff. Uh,
that should be illegal.
Yeah, I
should
don't like it.
should, but
It's
it's not.
it's not just creepy, it should be illegal. The fact that they're making laws that these kids cannot have these accounts before such and such an age, except with parental consent, kind of shows that
Oh, he doesn't
we
get to
know
see
it's
it. She
we
just
know it's not
put the
good.
photos.
It's it shouldn't be allowed. But the parents, once the parents consent, I guess they can't override parental consent.
Um,
But it's harmful to the children in their psyche.
oh,
It's
what I was saying is the Instagram that she has, he doesn't. I'm not sure if he knows about it, but she just documents his life and posts pictures of him that she like and stuff like that. But
yeah, that shouldn't be allowed.
yeah,
Like, if it's not of you and your life, well, I don't know. I guess the parent would view the child's milestones as parts of their life, right?
sounds
Kid
like it.
kid's first step, my big parental milestone. Kid said my name the first time.
Mhm.
Yay.
I
My
don't think there's that one,
baby.
but yeah,
Yeah, but stuff
there's a
like
Bet
that,
you it's
milestone.
out
Said
there.
my
when you,
name.
yeah, it's definitely out there. Like Andrea said, it, I don't, yeah,
Mhm.
it's, it's,
I agree there. um, if you're done, I can move on. I got an article right here that someone sent to me, and I thought it was interesting by the description. So here it goes. It says, I slept with three men at once. I would not recommend it. That's what the title is. I would not recommend it.
yeah,
Obviously, this person
I,
didn't
I,
like their
I got,
experience.
I got that, I got that part.
Sounds like this person might not know, might not like their experience. So it says, oranges. I slapped the penis away from my face inside while sitting up in bed.
Oranges?
I guess that's what the oranges is in quotes, so it's probably their safe word. Uh, It says, I slapped a penis away from my face and sighed while sitting up in bed. This wasn't what I thought it would be. I looked at the man, George was his name, standing on the bed, holding his member and wincing slightly. And then the two other men, Stefan and Adam, towering over me and panting. All of them had confused looks on their faces, whereas I had had enough. Are you okay? My boyfriend Adam said, one of the towering men, came to comfort me at that point, but I was done. Nope. I want out of this gangbang. I sighed, standing up and walking to the bathroom. Why? George asked, still wincing. I just don't think any of you know how to have sex with a woman. I callously replied before disappearing from their sight and shutting the door. It was harsh, but true. I had agreed to sleep with all three of them at the same time because I once thought it would be fun and exciting, but I didn't consider one thing. Not one of them was good in bed. It wasn't what I had planned. It wasn't what I had planned when I was in bed with Adam a few weeks before, watching a gangbang porn clip and masturbating alongside him. He was almost instantly hard, and I was so turned on that before climax, we both turned to each other and said at the same time and announced we wanted to try it. We had a pretty open relationship at the time. I don't want to be with just him, but wanted him as my primary partner. And I was sure he already had a long list of people he wanted to sleep with when I approached him with the idea of being open. His enthusiasm was immediate, of course. And so was it. We would date other people, but be together and see how it would go. The first few months went by super quick, and unfortunately, during the particular, particularly fantastic orgasm from a man I had met in a bar, I realized I just wasn't satisfied with Adam in bed. So when we both decided on imitating imitating the gangbang we had just seen, I was all in. I wanted sex with Adam to be the most I desired. He was my primary partner after all. The next day, while sitting at the kitchen table and making a list of people we would invite to the gangbang, Adam dropped his paper and said, "Wait, why not my two best friends?" I hadn't considered bringing people close to us into the folds. It felt like a disaster waiting to happen. But George and Stefan were really lovely people and really great bodies. After some discussion about whether they would think we were strange or it would ruin our friendships, it was decided we would at least ask. It took a mere 3 minutes for both to text back, yes, in all capitals with an exclamation mark. Uh, I smiled, feeling desired. I wondered if they had ever thought of having sex with me and started to get excited. It was the next evening that we had an organized event at our place with wine and light bites. George was the first round, eager with his smile permanently plastered on his face. Stefan followed soon after, his smile somehow bigger. Getting down to business felt awkward. It felt like I was taming lions as we had a glass of wine. We talked through rules: no biting, no violence. This is the safe word: oranges, axe first, etc. But they were all ready to pounce. We didn't make it to bed when it started. It felt so exciting. The tension in the air was electric, and I knew both of them were hard. So when we started having sex and their rhythms were off, as selfishly tried to take care of their individual selves instead of working as a group. I felt like a child's toy being played with incorrectly. Adam instantly penetrated me and didn't leave enough room for Stefan. George slapped his penis on my face for a while. Wow. Okay. Yeah, I'll keep going, which was annoying. And when Adam finally turned me over, letting Stefan penetrate me anally, wow. They both just sat there, attempted to move, but each other was in each other's way. George squatted on my face and was trying to angle his stuff into my mouth, but kept hurting my neck. I yelled oranges, the safe word, after 30 minutes of this and slapped George's penis out of my mouth. Wow. It was a complete mess, and I just couldn't deal with it. These three men were eager and just did not know how to have a successful gangbang. So, yeah, the most interesting part of that was his best friends. Um, yeah, they
Why
will
would you want your
forever.
best friend to sleep with your girl?
That's what I was gonna say. They would not pick best friends. I picked somebody I'd never seen before or will see again. Uh, get to know somebody. I'm not into stuff like that, but yeah, I'm not sharing. Um, not even if she acts, and it sounds like that's what's happened. She acts because she wanted to surprise her boyfriend or try it. And
She offered herself up as a piece of meat and she got treated as such and didn't like that feeling. I don't know why she is surprised and railing against any of these guys for taking her up on the offer.
I agree.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, what you said, I feel you. Uh, yeah, that seems like something you shouldn't ask to do. And I'd be curious, like, why do you agree with it being these two people? I wouldn't even ask my
Yeah,
friends. That's the
bad
awkward part.
decisions on everybody's part, but her, mm, her being the one writing it is the reason that I went at her first. So I just want to say, all the ladies out there, I'm not victim blaming. This is not what she signed up for, and she definitely, yeah.
I'm
The
really curious
guys,
what she thought she was signing up for.
yeah, well, yeah, I don't know. The
I don't know.
choreographed version that she saw in that video that the two of them were watching in the first place. I mean, that's yeah, I don't know.
Bring no one else into the bedroom. I
Yeah,
can't imagine how that would go. And his best friend sticks with me. Uh, I know a
me.
couple people where, yeah, when they first start talking to people, they're like, "Bro, look at this girl." Show me a naked picture, and 15 years later, you got a 15-year-old. So, yeah, you shouldn't do that. Um, yeah, I know her better than she thinks I know her.
I've made a lot of questionable decisions in my life, but that is certainly not one of them.
Good. Um, yeah, the best friends weren't good either. That's hilarious. How she said that. Him and his
Well,
friends.
I mean, what male, like non-religious male, will say, what man would not at the explicit unconditional offer just accept, right? Why not? Of course they say yeah, right? The boyfriend shouldn't have offered to them, right?
Right.
But
I think
whoever
maybe he
whoever
was,
it gets offered to, it's just yeah, right. Of course. So
I think he was probably think those are the safest two people. Maybe those were the people he trusts the most.
that
she came right
I
out and said
mean,
her boyfriend sucked in bed.
Mm, hmm.
so yeah, I don't know.
Hey,
I mean, what was she expecting?
Maybe she hopes that two out of three isn't bad.
right.
Maybe
I
one of
guess.
them knows
Yeah.
what they're doing.
Well,
Right.
yeah. Or if they're both good, right? Then you
Bonus, I
got,
suppose.
yeah,
It was good. One was
got a
bad,
good,
and she didn't like it. She said they didn't go together. They was all trying to get their own.
the whole, yeah. I think she just realized that the whole thing was a bad idea. I don't think it
Yes.
was necessarily the performance, the behavior. It was like in the middle of it, oh my God, what am I doing?
What did I get myself into?
Yeah. Um,
Yeah. To get up and walk away. That would suck. But yeah, she got herself in quite the pickle.
Three of them, it sounds like.
Oh yeah. Pun intended.
mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I wouldn't agree if my woman had asked. I wouldn't even bring it up.
I have a question. Would you have like a threesome with two girls instead of multiple men? Would that change your opinion?
No, I don't think so.
No?
Because I think once I'm in a
No.
relationship, I'm kind of deeply connected to that person, just that
Yeah.
person. Uh, Bringing someone else in the bedroom, even if it's a person you'll never see again. Like some people, they find random people on internet sites. Not that I know, but allegedly.
Yeah, allegedly there are
Allegedly.
entire like fortunes that have been made on services designed to connect
Hmm,
people with other people
There's
for
probably an app for that.
yeah.
things. Yes.
She soon learned that she wasn't built like that. And I don't know how watching TV is going to make you, watching porn on TV is going to make you feel like, oh, I could do this.
I
That
mean,
looks pretty easy.
it plants the seed. It's insidious that way, but it plants the seed and gets you into things that you really don't want to do. And she didn't realize that she didn't want to do that thing that she was sucked into until she was in the middle of, a
I'm
mushroom
sure she
slap.
I'm sure she thought it looked exciting.
Well,
And
yeah,
I'm sure the girl in the video probably looked like it was extremely pleasurable.
she, yeah, well,
Yeah.
newsflash, they're paid to make it look good, right?
Right.
Yep.
Um,
Uh,
it's not, it's not real. Um,
Yeah. Porn is not
yeah,
reality.
and yeah,
yeah,
and
you can't just
Corey,
think I can do that. No.
no,
Don't try stuff you try in, not that I know. No, seriously, not that I had ever
no,
If you
tried
want
it
to
in.
try
yeah,
something you saw in a porn video, keep it with your partner. Don't just start
well,
inviting people.
don't,
Invite no one into the bedroom is what I say.
yeah,
There's
that
no one I trust. Uh,
that's a good one. I second that one.
no one else in the bedroom besides our
I
relationship.
I mean, being willing to experiment is one thing, but just jumping right into a gangbang is another.
Yeah,
Mm,
from 0 to
I'm gonna
3
start slow.
and nothing flat. That's quite a that's
You gotta
not a
be like,
step. That's like a
maybe
cliff.
two isn't enough,
Like no wonder you slammed into it.
right? Maybe she was like, maybe two isn't enough. We bring someone else. If you didn't like two, then you
Yeah.
might not like three.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Why wouldn't I mean, not that I condone any of it, but why wouldn't she try, you know,
Right. Just add
she
one, not two.
yeah.
It was on the movie. It was on TV when she was watching porn.
Yeah,
She
yeah,
happened to like it
I
when it
guess.
was three guys.
I guess.
Um,
That's
yeah,
Jeff
three
says it
holes.
sounds like a healthy relationship.
Right, sure does. I don't get it.
uh
And I'm
I mean
totally,
they stopped when she said the safe word. They let her get away. So, yeah, props to them
yeah.
for that. But
Yeah, that's good.
the whole
Well, her
thing,
boyfriend was there. They couldn't
yeah.
just ignore him and her.
I mean
Ignoring her is like ignoring him.
they could technically. It's you know, guys are
Yeah,
bigger
it can
than
be.
ladies.
Yeah. Mhm. No
Yeah.
one else in the bedroom. Like I said, it's
Yeah.
just
Bedroom is a
mm.
sacred place. And that's my
With best
opinion.
friends. No, your best friends are forever going to know her body.
Yeah,
And there's
that's
always going to be something you guys look at. He might be looking at you funny. You think that's what she's probably going to be thinking. Is he looking at me because he remembers,
I
or
mean, yeah,
something, or he wants
of
to?
course he remembers. And yeah, and that's flashing.
gonna be a weird
flashing
Thanksgiving.
in his mind every time. Pretty much every time. Yeah.
Yeah. He's gonna
Yeah.
be like, I slept with so and so's girlfriend. He probably passed that news on to family. Probably has like a little brother, somebody he
Or
can
yeah,
find it in. 'Cause I couldn't
whoever
imagine
would
holding
be
that secret.
interested at least, right?
Yeah. That is crazy. No one else. I personally, like I said, me. Anybody else you guys can do with your bedroom. I don't. I couldn't do the sharing. Uh,
Definitely not for me.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't know two other guys that I'd allow to do that, and I'm not with random people. I don't like. Um, yeah, I don't like getting to know people. Takes a
Yeah,
while.
it
Uh,
takes a lot of work to get to know a person.
I think she should have got to know them like weeks
Mm,
ahead of time. I wouldn't have done it, but for her
yeah,
to
Well, if
back
it was
out once you
his
get
best
there,
friends, she might have known them and thought that
yeah,
she knew them well enough because they
oh
were his
yeah,
two
hey,
best friends.
yeah.
So
mm,
she
They
thought
may
she would
have
be
already
comfortable with
knew
them.
each other. I hadn't thought of that.
uh,
Makes me wonder
uh,
what had happened to the guys' friendships afterwards. Like, did it screw up their friendship at all?
I guess he's gonna have a chance to find out now.
right. Uh,
Yes.
I can't imagine their
mm,
friendship
mm,
not
mm.
being changed to some degree.
Oh yeah, it's
It's,
changing.
yeah, it's gonna be different. Mm,
It's like trying to avoid a conversation. That's what that's gonna be like on Thanksgiving and Christmas when you get the friends over. We know what happened. We don't want to talk about it. There's other people here. One day they're
Yes.
gonna bring a girlfriend over or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just not comfortable. It's hilarious, but uh,
It's
whatever people
kind
want to
of
do in their
sad.
bedroom, it's their business. Yeah. If I ever get a girlfriend out there, do not suggest that. I'm gonna leave the relationship.
Just for the
I'm say,
suggestion.
yeah, you've been thinking about somebody else. Think I'm gonna leave. Threaten to move out and all that. Um, yeah. So got something else here though that was pretty interesting by the description. It was what caught me because I got something recently for sleep. I got the RSL. And this right here says using cannabis for sleep isn't harmless. It can trap people in a cycle of dependency. That's what caught my attention.
Mm.
For millions of people, cannabis has become the unofficial prescription for lost sleep. But what feels like a solution may be quietly making the problem worse. Consider these two cases. She is 15 and has been lying in bed for the past hour. It is past midnight and her brain will not quiet down. Her school bus comes at 6:20 a.m. She's getting anxious knowing that she needs to wake up in 6 hours. All she did all the right things, turned off her phone at 10 p.m., tried melatonin. So tonight she tries something a friend recommended, a cannabis gummy. Within 20 minutes, she was asleep. Another case. He was 34, a veteran, and who did two tours and has struggled with sleep since coming home. It takes him 2 hours to fall asleep, and when he does, he is jolted awake by relentless nightmares. He hasn't slept more than 3 hours a night in months, and it's catching up with him. His buddy swears that cannabis helped him, and with a 6 month waiting list for sleep consultation at a Veterans Affairs Medical Center and cannabis dispensary 6 blocks away that's open until 10 p.m., the decision doesn't feel complicated. Both will tell you cannabis works for specific reasons. They are not entirely wrong, but no one has told them what it's actually what is actually happening inside the brain when the lights go out. It's complex. And for them, as for many others, ultimately it's a trap. As a neurologist specializing in sleep brain performance, I write this not as the someone opposed to cannabis, but as someone who regularly sees patients whose sleep has quietly unraveled after months or years of use, especially teenagers and veterans. Believe the public, I believe the public deserves a more completed story than they'll currently have due to limited research that's available. Um, why the teenage brain is especially vulnerable is from an early age through the mid 20s, brain is actively under construction, clearing out weak or redundant connections and reinforcing the circuits responsible for judgment, emotional regulation, and stress response. Tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC.
THC.
Yeah, they should just said THC. Anyhow, the psychoactive component of cannabis interferes with this process directly by acting on the endocannabinoid system, one of the primary regulatory networks guiding it. A 2021 brain imaging study of 799 teenagers found that cannabis use was associated with dose dependent thinning of cerebral cortex, meaning the more cannabis a teenager used, the thinner their prefrontal cortex became. Makes me think of my childhood. Anyhow, the prefrontal cortex is the region of the brain responsible for judgment, decision making, and impulse control. Thinning of the cortex in this region has been associated with increased impulsivity, poorer decision making, and reduced inhibitory control. Another seldom discussed factor is how puberty affects sleep. Hormonal changes in the brain, maturation in adolescence, shift the internal biological clock, known as the circadian rhythm, toward a later sleep schedule. And teenagers far from alone. A 2025 study found more than 1 in 5 young adults in the US turn to cannabis or to alcohol to fall asleep. For teenagers who are already sleep deprived and facing early school start times, cannabis can become its own nightly fix. What cannabis is doing while you sleep? Sleep is not passive, it is well organized, purposeful, and foundational to our physical and brain health. Every night, the brain cycles through distinct stages, each serving spe- specific function. I don't know why I got tongue tied on that word. All sleep stages matter, but one that matters the most is REM sleep. The dreaming stage. This is this is when the brain processes the most emotional weight of the day, locks in learning, and resets the brain circuits that govern mood, judgment, and resilience. THC has a sedative effect, low doses, but is stimulating at high doses. Cannabis also contains cannabinoids, plant-derived compounds such as CBD and CBN that interact with a system in the body that produces its own cannabinoids and contributes to the sedative effects of cannabis. Here is where it gets complicated. THC does help people fall asleep faster, but that effect fades quick as the body adapts to regular use. The same gummy that once helped someone fall asleep quickly does less. They need more to get the same effect. In addition, falling asleep quicker is not the same as sleeping well. A 2025 review um, 2025 review of the research to date found that cannabis does not consistently improve sleep overall, including how people stay asleep or restful that sleep is. In a separate study, chronic daily users spent significantly more time awake during the night and got less restful sleep compared to non users. Another study that found using cannabis close to bedtime had similar effects. In other words, The subjective sense of sleeping better does not match what the brain recordings show. When relief becomes reliance, at this point, many people are using cannabis not because it's working well, but because it stopping feeling worse. Even when chronic cannabis users have the willpower to stop, they often face brutal withdrawal symptoms that are more severe than what drove them to cannabis in the first place. Sleep disturbance, including insomnia and oh wow, including insomnia and disturbing dreams, is described as common manifestation of cannabis withdrawal. In addition, two-thirds of users report other symptoms such as anxiety, depression, mood, restlessness, irritability, decreased appetite, or a combination of these symptoms that often persist for weeks after stopping use. The discomfort of withdrawal drives many people to keep using it. This is a trap. It's quiet and insidious. What makes it harder to see? No, which makes it harder to see. Cannabis works just enough to feel the solution night after night. It dulls the problem without fixing it. Until stopping, it feels unthinkable. When someone finally tries to quit, their sleep falls apart. So they go back. The original reason they could not sleep, not been identified or treated, and it has not gone away. Uh, Post traumatic stress disorder affects an estimated 12 to 23% of post 9/11 veterans, compared to 6% to 8% of the general population. Some sleep disturbances affect 70% to 90% of military personnel with PTSD. People with PTSD commonly have that as a visceral, relentless, and exhausting. They might be jolted awake with a pounding heart multiple times a night for years. As a result, many veterans turn to cannabis to help them sleep. It's understandable, especially when it can take months or weeks to get an appointment with a mental health practitioner. But the data on outcomes for veterans sobering with those cannabis use disorder, meaning cannabis use they struggle to control despite negative consequences, which affects roughly 1 in 4 veterans who use cannabis non medically. They have higher rates of depression, anxiety, and suicidal ideation, and respond much more poorly to evidence based PTSD treatments. And then there was withdrawal. When veterans tried stopping, the same symptoms that cannabis seemed to quiet come roaring back in a potential dangerous way. Rebound insomnia and nightmares worsening, depression, and in some cases, thoughts of suicide, because these withdrawal symptoms so closely mirror PTSD itself. Many veterans interpret the return of the symptoms as their condition worsening, not as a withdrawal, so they go back to cannabis and the cycle continues. One little more part. What actually works and that's not so hard to get. Cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia, or CBT-I, is considered first line treatment for persistent insomnia. Research shows that it outperforms every sleep medication, cannabis included. This therapy works by modifying sleep habits, regulating sleep wake schedules, reducing arousal, and reframing unhelpful beliefs about sleep. A form of treatment known as image rehearsal and therapy, in which patients rewrite the storyline of reoccurring nightmare and mentally rehearse the new version while awake, has been shown to be effective for veterans with trauma related nightmares, but trained CBT-I providers are scarce. Wait times are long, and most primary care settings do not offer it. In other words, the people most vulnerable to the sleep related harms of cannabis are the least likely to have access to treatments that address the underlying problems, and the most likely to get caught in a negative cycle. For those who already caught on to that cycle, quitting abruptly rarely works and often makes things worse. Research shows that CBT-I can reduce both insomnia and cannabis use at the same time, treating the root problem so cannabis is no longer feels necessary. Sleep is the foundation of which memory, mood, judgment, and recovery are built. The 15-year-old who cannot fall asleep and the veteran who wakes up gasping at 3 a.m. both deserve evidence-based information about what is happening in their brains and really access and real access to care that treats the root. That is all. Um, the RSO last night, it wasn't as effective as it was the days before. So as I was doing my research, I seen this and I was like, wow, it must be meant to be. I should talk about this because obviously it sees what I'm doing and it sees it just stopped working. I mean, I slept good last night, but it wasn't like I usually sleep good. But
Yeah. Well, I mean, I was told, I think I told you. I thought I remember telling you that, yeah, if it's good, but if you use it every day, it gets, it's good for like a once or twice a week, or maybe 2 or 3 times a week thing, but not every day if you want it to continue to be that effective for sleep. But like
I always took a day in between.
sativa, um, sativa RSO strains are pretty good for like going through the day without, having to reach for a vape pen or, um, whatever. Some dispensaries, there's one here in Florida called Move or Move. I don't know. They have a little umlaut over the U, so I don't know what they want us to pronounce it as. I think they just thought it looked cute as a U, you know, makes it as a little smiley face. Look at that
Move.
happy little U. Yeah. Move, maybe. Probably move. Get your
Yeah, you
get
just
your
promoted that
joints
company.
moving with the medical stuff or whatever, but they specialize in a lot of the RSOs in a way that none of the other dispensaries around do. Most of them here do just like indica sativa hybrid. But this one does specific strains, and they have these tinctures which have the equivalent to a full 1 gram syringe. Um, and this one's almost done, but 1 gram syringe, probably kind of what you got, right? Something similar,
I have
or
no idea, to be
yeah,
honest. It's like,
well,
give me one that helps you with sleep.
yeah, but
And
this
I have
is
no
this is a
idea what it
little
was, where he got it from.
this is a little like eyedropper thing with an oil in it, so they have the RSO dissolved into that oil in there, so that you can do drops at a time of it diluted to the point where you microdose the RSO essentially and do small amounts, so that you're not blasting your brain, because that's really what is inducing the big, massive buildup of tolerance in the brain that causes the sleep to really become a problem. Is you're going about your day like normal, never had RSO before, right? You're used to smoking, though, smoking throughout the day, hitting the vape pen throughout the day. And then
Hmm.
one day, all of a sudden, you don't just eat an edible, you take an edible with like so much more THC in it that it just blasts like every single CB1 receptor in your entire body. Plus, the RSO has like the full plant profile of all of the terpenes, all of I mean, the major and all of the minor cannabinoids. If it's being done properly, the RSO should be including even things like the plant lipids and the chlorophyll and all of that. So we don't know the true extent of what the entourage effect is or does, but by all indications, the more like complete the extraction is, the more um, helpful it appears to be. So, you've gone and then in one jolt, one shot blast. So now, even though it's, a day between, so 2 days later, um, your body still remembers that blast, right? So it's not going to be as effective. If you wait a week and then do another RSO night, that'll probably blast you off again. But if you make it a regular thing, it's not going to just knock you out. It'll definitely give you like super chill evenings, but um
Nothing like your
It'll
first time.
also it'll also make it harder for your daily use to be effective. The vape pens, you'll need more. The smoking, your tolerance there will go up because it's the same receptors. So, um,
I have a
moderation
question.
moderation is key. Yeah.
They talked about the withdrawal and like it would work good and then they would stop and they would have this withdrawal period and then they would go back. How long do you think that withdrawal period is?
With cannabis, if they were talking about the withdrawal being the sleep difficulty and the
Yeah,
people like jumping back the sleep difficulty, probably at least 3 nights would be my guess, just based on what I've
I pray I never
experienced.
get like that.
Um,
I'm just looking at my Fitbit sleep tracker and I quit smoking back in January for about 2 months. And my sleep quality like tanked. I was not sleeping for shit. And now that I'm smoking again, I'm getting the best sleep I've had in years.
nice.
So, yeah. I
Likewise.
mean, let me see if I can show you the graph that I'm looking at. This is basically August through this month. Can you see that?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And it goes back up in the green as soon as I started smoking again. And I was
Good.
off, I didn't smoke for like almost, I think about 2 months at all. My
I
tolerance is
wonder.
like non-existent now, but
Good. Hey, that's never a bad thing,
much more
honestly.
budget friendly, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah. People
yeah.
talk about like, my tolerance, I can smoke under the table. I'm like, and I'd rather be a cheap date, be able to go to a dispensary, buy an eighth or two, and be set for like a week, 2 weeks. Like
Two days.
I can't, yeah, that's not me anymore. I need to do a
I can get an eighth
tolerance
and it
break.
lasts me 2 days.
I need to find a window of time where I can have enough time to go like that, no sleep and not end up being useless, unproductive. There are obligations now.
Huh.
Susie Johnson calling me. I don't know anybody named Susie Johnson.
No.
No,
Uh, I know a Susie, but her last name is not Johnson. Yeah.
no.
Actually, her name is Susan, not Susie. So
Well, hey, you
she,
could call her Susie, see if she
they
gets.
do call her Susie, but her real name is Suzanne.
Uh,
Uh, she got a nickname. So yeah, I guess Susie is actually Suzanne. Um, but yeah, the thing with that RSO, I didn't do it three. I've only used it three times, but the first day, and then there was a break, and then 2 days later I tried it again, or yeah, I took it one night, then 2 days later I took it again, and it worked. But this time I didn't fall asleep as fast. I slept good, but I didn't fall asleep as fast, and that's exactly what it was saying. And I don't know if my algorithm uh, heard me talking or something, but when that popped up and it said that THC isn't good, I was like, all right, whatever. And I scrolled down and I was like, you guys don't know what you're talking about. And send me that's in the notification that specifically they found it because they heard me talking about it. I was gonna swipe it, but I was just like, let me check. Why can it trap people in this independency? Because yeah, that title caught my attention. It says using cannabis for sleep isn't harmless. That's what first caught my attention. And then it said it can trap people in a cycle of dependency. Then I was like,
dependency, not
reminds me
addiction.
of last night.
Yeah, no, they had to be very careful about that language. If they want to doom and gloom it, they can't be like outright dishonest. So they have to say dependency, not addiction. So,
Okay.
meanwhile, nah,
Yeah,
nah,
this was a June 13th article, so it isn't even something old. Uh,
take that, cannabis haters. Mm,
um, yeah, I'm not gonna do it for maybe a week and see what happens. But when I first started taking it, which was last, might have been Friday. No, I took it Thursday. Uh, Thursday night, and okay, I did do it Thursday night and Friday night. No, Thursday night and Saturday night, and then last night. So it's been like every other day. But to this night, I'm not gonna use it because it didn't work last night, and I see what this article is saying, and I don't want to get in that dependency range. I mean, unless I
Your
go gusto
tolerance
and
went
just
up.
get a whole bunch of it tonight. I was just thinking that just go gusto and, you know, not one drop, get three.
nah,
It's gonna raise your tolerance a lot.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You'll end up smoking more during the day. You'll need to, yeah, it'll cause problems if you keep going at it.
yeah.
Don't
I'm
grab
not gonna keep
it,
going at it.
yeah, occasional. It's like the benzos. If you use them every day, you're gonna be no use
Not
for
gonna
you
work.
the rest
Yeah,
of the day.
Same with
yeah. Like
opiates.
it's like yeah. I was gonna say with opiates, you need to use more and more, and you can't stop. You get dependent on it, and, and when you
I
don't
was
have it,
proof
you
of
start
that.
throwing up. Uh, I wouldn't know, but yeah, I've seen it. Um, yeah, people
I've done it.
going through the
It's awful.
withdrawals. Yeah, withdrawal. I've seen somebody going through withdrawal, and it's like something you can't help them through. Like I'm just trying to like put my arm on his shoulder, and he's over the toilet throwing up, and I'm like, "I'll hold your hair. Hold on." And I'm like, "You all
I
right?"
didn't
And
ever
he's
go
like,
through
"No, I'm
that,
not all
but
right." He was angry. Of course, I'm not all right. I'm throwing up. And I'm like, okay, my bad. I'm just wondering why. And yeah. Then somebody else was like, he's on that stuff. That's why.
Hmm.
I don't
And
think I was ever that dependent on it, but
yeah, because
I was on it for a lot of years.
I remember walking
Sorry.
out of the bathroom because he was angry, and another family member, I pointed out that he was kind of angry. I was like, I was just trying to help him out, so he doesn't throw up all over himself and his hair and stuff like that. But he got angry. Like, well, this is all I did. You know how you try to help somebody soothe them? You all right? You all right? I tried to do that. And instantly just blew up. No, I'm not all right. Like the whole house could hear that. If I was all right, I wouldn't be throwing up. And he went on for maybe 30 seconds, bunch of stuff. Do I look all right? Do you see me sweating? Listen, this. No, I'm not all right. Why would you ask the thing? And I walked out and I was like, you guys, did you hear that? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, I just try to help. And they're like, you can't help. Don't help him. He doesn't need help. He needs to go to a program. And I'm like, that's not helpful. And he's like, he's on that stuff. Like, what do you mean he's on that stuff? And then they explained it. And I'm like, oh, that stuff. Opiates aren't good for you. If I have to go through what I seen, that deters me from even using opiates. That's what deterred me, seeing him go through that, throwing up and feeling like you're dying, he was saying, and just laying on the floor. He said he can't get up, and I was like, "What do you mean?" And he's just like, "Leave me alone." And I'm like, "Well, all right." Laid on the bathroom floor for hours. I'm explaining too much. Allegedly, this happened.
Well, yeah.
Um, but
Every
yeah,
story here is for entertainment purposes only. Mm.
yeah. Allegedly, I was there. So, um, I do not ever want to do opiates because of what I seen and had to deal with helping somebody who was angry the whole time, but accepted the help. Uh, uh, yeah. I
Well,
never knew what that was like until I seen this person and had to help them through that time of get up off the floor. I'm gonna get in the
it's
bathtub with cold water. Can you fill it up with cold water? Can you help me in the tub? Can you help me out of the tub? And yes, this person was naked. It's I don't want to go through that. It was like an ugly phase. I was just like, I don't ever want to see you go through that again. And I
mm,
haven't. So uh, then again, we're not around each other anymore, so I don't know. Um, yeah, I'll look into that and check on them. So all the fans out there and viewers, don't do opiates, please. I suggest that you do not.
okay, yeah, I thought that
Unless you
was going a
cannot, if
different
unless you're using a
direction.
benzo or something,
I thought it was to our
don't do
fans,
drugs.
there's thumbs up and like. No, don't like that.
Don't do
But
drugs, people. It's not good for you.
subscribe to
Mm.
hear stories such as this.
Yeah, it really supports the podcast when you press that thumbs up button. And yeah, don't do opiates.
Mm,
It was too much for me dealing with taking care of somebody to where I was like, I don't want to do it. It was that bad. It scared me away from it just looking at what he was dealing with and trying to help a naked man in and out of the tub multiple times. Uh,
mm. Wow.
multiple times. Not just never mind. You just guess how many times. It was a
Mm.
lot. Too many. Um,
Once
you
is
shouldn't be
too
carrying another
many.
naked man.
Yeah.
And honestly, my aunt kept telling me, you see, he keeps getting angry at you. Why you just keep doing it? And I'm like, I'm just helping because he looked like he needs help. And then he'll call me for help. And it just be like, okay, took him out of the bed took him out of the tub to the room. And I don't know what I said to set him off, but I left the room because I did set him off. And then they kept going, you just keep going back. And I was like, well, he keeps calling me. He needs the help. But then for some reason, anything I do sets him off. Uh, yeah. Don't do it. Mark, Andrea. No opiates. Well, actually, opiates, yes.
Mm,
No
Been there, done
heroin.
that.
I, yeah, I know a
He
not
sleeps good.
close, not a close friend, but a friend who um, overdosed
No.
on my birthday. What will be 3 years ago this year.
Sorry to hear
So,
that.
Yeah,
uh,
sorry.
yeah, think it's yeah. I mean, I hadn't seen her in a long time. Um, but yeah, a lot of people get to a point like that where they don't have somebody like you who might come and help them. Everybody else, like,
Me?
just, yeah,
Oh,
everybody else, like, why, you don't, um, yeah, when the last person there helping, trying to make sure they get what they need and whatnot, it's like, I don't know. There was a progressive stream
oh.
of people, friends who just kind of couldn't keep watching a downward spiral in the refusal
I
to,
think they got tired of helping.
yeah,
Uh,
well, and the
and they
refusal
wanted me to stop
to
that bad.
actively change, if they're gonna keep doing this to themselves, stop helping them out
Yeah.
of the hole that they're gonna just dig back into again. So, I don't know. I hope your friend dug himself out and stayed out. I don't know if that's something
It was family, but it's all right.
hmm,
Um, yeah. I don't know if he's clean anymore, but yeah, that's not my business. But yeah,
hmm,
I don't know. He gets good sleep. So much good sleep. Like after that, we thought he was dead. I did. And they were like, check his pulse. But it's like shaking him and all that and doesn't wake him up, doesn't wake him up. It was that scary to where I had to check his pulse. And he was like, when I kept referring to him as dead sleep, it was literally dead sleep. Like he just not moving. Doesn't sound like he's breathing unless you put your ear way close to his mouth, which was very uncomfortable, but I did it anyway. And
hmm,
you really can't hear him breathing, but you got to put your finger on his neck, and then you're like, oh, yeah, he's breathing. At least he has a pulse. He might not have been breathing. He had a pulse. And yeah, I don't know if he was dependent on that to sleep, but obviously don't use drugs to sleep, including marijuana. It may work, but don't build a tolerance to where you depend on it. Message of the day, right?
yes. Sleep aids, um, not sleep
Yeah. Um,
drugs, addiction. I don't know.
I'm not gonna use the RSO for maybe a week, maybe like
Yeah.
maybe a week, 6 days. We'll see how I start feeling
Some
towards a week away.
melatonin sometimes, some
I'm just gonna go straight weed and just deal with
so
it and see if I can do the
yeah.
best I can without it.
I mean, the
And
straight
then,
weed will, I mean, it'll do whatever it does, but it's gonna slow the um return of effectiveness of the RSO. Not that I guess you should, I don't know. I guess that would be advocating for just like a complete tolerance break, which I think is not something that you were aiming for. So I guess maybe disregard that.
um, yeah. See, I already forgot what you said, so it's been disregarded. Uh,
Good. Well done.
you're like, luckily you have epilepsy.
Mhm.
Yeah. So Got another article here that another person sent me, and I didn't go to the ones my daughter sent me yet, but she did have some questions for you. Uh,
Oh, well,
yeah, you
she'll
might
go
be
to
in
those
trouble.
earlier rather than later. I don't know how much steam I have today.
Uh, okay. Um, One here, and it says, um, of course, you like NASA, so that's what it says. It says NASA chief wants to make Pluto great again. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, she's seen you enough to know you like stuff with space. Uh, you want to read the article? I can.
I don't want to steal your glory.
I mean, it isn't stealing my glory.
It's your daughter's question, man.
Question to you though.
I'm the one answering the question. It's not fair to make me read it too.
All right. Just so you can check it out, I sent it to you. But I'll read it. NASA chief wants to make Pluto great again. Make Pluto great again is in quotes. So about 20 years ago, leading astronomers decided that Pluto was too small to be a planet, undoubtedly giving a Napoleonic complex. But NASA's top official came out with a new rallying cry on Tuesday: make make Pluto great again. Well, kind of. The U.S. Space Agency's administrator, Isaacman, told the Senate committee that he wants to put little Pluto, he wants little Pluto to be reclassified as a planet. Um, he added, we are doing some papers right now on, I think, a position, um, a position that we would love to escalate through the scientific community to revisit this discussion. Isaacman made the comments after telling a 10-year-old that NASA is looking into giving Pluto a planetary promotion. Hmm. Despite being chief of NASA, this isn't something Isaacman can casually do. Instead, it's up to the International Astronomical Union. The union is the world's largest professional body of astronomers, meaning that all NASA can do is push for experts to reconsider Pluto. Isaacman, Isaacman predecessor Jim Bridenstine even joked at Tuesday's NYSE Space Summit, in quote, "You've all been lied to. Pluto is a planet. But don't expect but don't expect this to happen anytime soon," said IAU's press coordinator Ramazmi Venagol. Um, that name is so hard to pronounce. There's more syllables there. Uh, we understand that many people feel Pluto was demoted, but in fact, Pluto became a leading object of the new family of solar system bodies, he told Metro. Scientific classifications are determined through international consensus and evidence based process. While they are not subject to unilateral change, they can be amended if the supporting evidence changes. Why Pluto is not a planet? Pluto was originally classified as a ninth planet in our solar system after discovery in 1930 by an astronomer, Clyde Tombaugh. Um, it was named after the Greek god of the underworld by an 11-year-old English girl named Venetia Burney. But Union astronomers through this icy, barren orb about 3 trillion miles away. I'm sorry, I had to count the zeros. 3 trillion miles away. That's very far. Uh, Anyhow, 3 trillion miles away doesn't fit their definition of planethood. In 2006, the Union voted that there are three conditions that a celestial object must meet to be counted as a planet. Um, One is the object orbits the sun. Two is it is large enough for its gravity pull, for the gravity to pull it into a round shape. And three, it has cleared, in quote, has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Um, by cleared the neighborhood, astronomers mean that has plowed through all cosmic dirt and snow orbiting the sun to make a clear path. This is a condition Pluto falls short on. It is a location in a ring of ice known as the Cooper Belt.
Kuiper Belt.
That's Kuiper Belt. Okay. Um, so they gave it the new term dwarf planet. It is, after all, only about 1,400 miles wide and half the width of the US. Mm. Demoting Pluto caused immediate uproar in the scientific world. 300 scientists signed a petition against the solar system's B list a week later. University of Arizona's planetary scientist Dave Tholen told the media at that time that the IAU's definition was too vague. Out of 3,800, oh no, out of 3,000 space experts that met Prague to cast a vote, only 500 were eligible to do so. This is a this is about a big brouhaha. Uh, is that a word?
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh, okay, this is about a big brouhaha in the astronomical world, as I can recall. He said, "It's one of the most passionate discussions I've witnessed. Four other dwarf planets have since been discovered, including uh, Ceres or Ceres, a larger
Series.
than Ceres." Okay. These are in Greek, right? That's why I'm saying it wrong.
They are from Greek and Roman mythology initially, yeah.
Okay, good. Because it doesn't look like Ceres. But yeah, anyhow, a larger than average rock among hundreds of thousands of rocks in the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. Get in touch with, oh no, the rest of it, that's something. Get in touch with the people who wrote it if you want to. But yeah, I didn't know that Pluto was not a planet. I grew up thinking Pluto was a planet. When did Pluto not become a planet? I don't
Neil
really.
deGrasse Tyson did it back in like early 20, 2020,
2006, I think, is what it
27.
said in the article.
Yeah, 2006. There we go. Yeah. He was one of the big proponents of, publicizing the push to get it removed and whatnot. Um, so yeah, it's not like he did it himself, but he was like the big main face behind a lot of the push um, to redo it. Eh,
Yeah, my daughter thought she would like that, and I'm glad she did like it. Thoughts
yeah,
on that, Mark?
I, I mean, I don't care what the International Astronomical who's the what's it board of hot snot people
IUA,
say. Yeah,
IAU.
they can say whatever they want to. Who gave them the authority to decide everything for everyone, except just themselves giving it to themselves. So, if that's all that it takes to become the authority on that, then I give myself the authority to reject their authority and say that Pluto was always a planet anyway, and that Neil deGrasse Tyson doesn't deserve to be the public face of astronomy.
Mm, okay.
That's
Yeah, I agree
just,
with you.
you know, the authority that I have.
I don't know much about him, but we'll talk about him more next time. I'll do my research on this guy.
Please don't make us talk about him. No,
All right, if you
he's
say
not
so.
that, he's not that interesting. He's just, the, um, I don't know.
Okay,
He
I get it. You don't
like
want to talk about him. We will not talk about him.
drips with
Okay.
self-importance and just his personality rubs me the wrong way. He always kind of
Mm.
kind of been on the douche side.
I
Mm,
think I need to go see something about this guy. How you're talking
mm,
about him. I need to know
mm.
why. I need to go watch a
Yeah,
couple interviews. Wasn't he on Rogan?
go watch him on Rogan. Um, Particularly the exchange that he had with Rogan over trans athletes competing in sports, you know, um, and how that's kind of becoming a problem. And
You know,
mm,
one of the children in high schools are doing
Tyson's
that now.
discussion, his treatment of Rogan when he said that, and just his whole attitude and demeanor during that exchange. It's just like this guy is he's himself. Come on. And you're
Um,
a guest on somebody else's show. Don't be a jerk. Yeah.
I see. Definitely got to go check out that interview because I need to
Yeah.
know why you don't like him so much.
Sure. Yeah. Totally fair.
Okay,
Um,
you got any suggestions other than Rogan so I can go watch him?
I mean, I don't know.
He probably has a YouTube channel.
He has all
Mm,
kinds of stuff anywhere, everywhere. Once you see through the mask and kind of get a feeling for who the person is when he's not like nicely well edited, well performed and practiced out and all that stuff, rehearsed and whatnot. It's kind of hard not to see through and kind of I don't that was my once somebody's mask slips and it becomes clear who they are, not who they're presenting themselves to be. It's hard not to see who they really are in everything they do.
question. Did you like him before that interview?
No,
Okay. What made you dislike him? 'Cause
he just doesn't doesn't seem to engage in good faith with the people that he talks with. And he seems to specifically engage only with people that um, he has like a significant like appeal to authority advantage over. He doesn't do a lot of discussions with actual intellectual peers. He just, I don't know. He's an educator who presents himself as a hard scientist. And it's fine to be an educator, especially in sciences like that. It's important. We need them. But he's overly self-important. But a bit
That's
of
the
that
first time I heard someone say
narcissism
that.
is,
Self-important.
huh?
First time I heard that word, self-important.
It's
Um,
hyphenated. So yeah.
yeah,
But
gotcha.
he's not he yeah, his idea of his importance is goes beyond the scope of how important he actually is. And a lot of that went into the whole Pluto planet thing, you know. I think he's the chair something for the New York planetarium something or whatever, one of the big like teaching museum somethings in New York. So that um that goes into um whatever why he is so um
Self-important.
so um widely known, you know. He's like a rock star of a scientist, not a like actual serious scientist. Not to say that he hasn't actually done serious science, but that's not what he's famous for. He's famous for running a planetarium
Oh wow.
and making Pluto not a planet anymore. But
Ah,
seriously, some people like totally blame him for that. Um,
I
but
thought he was bigger than that. I mean,
I mean,
I don't know much
he
about the
could
guy.
stand to lose a few pounds, but um,
I definitely
that's
got to check this out.
uh, well,
Uh, yeah. Um, I got something else here 'cause I know you don't want to keep talking about him. Uh,
well, I mean,
and
yeah,
you
Mark
do?
still needs to do his show and tell too.
yeah, I got
Oh
mine.
yeah. What's going on with that? Let's do
Yeah,
show and tell and
this
rocket
will be
news. You got that? Take care of
well.
that.
We can if we can make Rocket News a once a week thing rather than every single time.
Well, it's the
So,
first of the week. First meeting of the week would be today.
no, we did Rocket News on Wednesday. We had some Rocket News. I don't know. I haven't prepared Rocket News stuff. Remember I like Wednesday, and I did Rocket News. Remember the Thursday and the Friday that I've had up till now. So I'm not at peak, right?
I
Gotcha.
say you get a pass on Rocket News, but I still want to hear about your show and tell.
See, yeah, thank you. Thank you, Andrea. Yes, so I have
I won't push. Go ahead.
from my grandmother or grandfather, I have inherited a ring, and this is I need to figure out how to get a close up without it wants to make my face the okay, this is not gonna happen, is it? Yeah, yeah.
I can
Focus
see
on it.
pretty much it.
I
Uh,
can
Yeah, it's
too.
not going to focus on the text. So, okay, over the top. Oh, wait, I was holding it upside down. Okay, there we go.
What's to
So,
say on it?
the initials on the bottom, it says USAAF. And over the top, it says Bombardier. So my grandfather,
Within the Air Force?
well, no. My grandfather was in the United States Army Air Corps.
Oh,
He was training, he went through officer training school and went on to uh, Air Corps training and trained um, to be a bombardier in a B-17 using the Kitty. Kitty wants to be the show and tell. No, Kitty.
She's just trying to help.
Yes, she is helpful for many things, but not right now, not this. So yeah, he went and um something a little tidbit, fun fact. There are you familiar with the bomb site that was used by the B-17s? Either one. Okay, so the Norden bomb
nope.
site it was revolutionary at the time. What it did was a complex. It was a secret that was kept on par or treated on par with the Manhattan Project, although like all of our allies and enemies already knew about it before the war even started. It was kind of the worst kept secret, but they tried. They thought, well, they knew the concept was being worked on and stuff, knew that the project was there. But Norden, the company, had designed this site, this set of optics, basically. So traditional aircraft at the time, they would have the bombardier, looking down basically like a periscope of some sort that had some mirrors and whatever, and it would just kind of let them see what they were over, and then open the door, right? The Norden bomb site um, was entirely different. It used what was um, effectively, it was a mechanical computer that did a lot of range calculation, range finding calculation, and a lot of bombardier training school was doing math and physics to know how to dial in, what to do, how to use these bomb sites, how to interact with the computer. You need to give the correct inputs to a computer to get accurate output, right? So they needed to know how fast it combined sensor readings from the airplane, how fast the wind was moving, what was the direction of the wind, what was direction of the wind relative to the plane, how fast the plane was flying, how far to the ground, what was the elevation, what elevation change might occur between where you are and where your target is, and you needed to know all of these things. Um, and what would happen when they would approach the target, the pilot would engage the bomb site, and once the bomb site was um, operating, the bombardier had control of the aircraft, essentially. It was hooked up to the plane's autopilot, which was a feature that planes had already before that, right? They could maintain course and altitude on their own, right? So what this did, it, hooks that mechanical computer into the things, right? whatever, that were already able to maintain height and altitude, and suddenly it's able to control height and altitude. And so the bombardier would look down, he would find the target where they were supposed to be going, and the bomb sight, being a mechanical computer, would calculate what the flaps had to do, what the plane throttle had to do, um, how to control the aircraft to put it over where it needs to be for the bombs to be released and land on the target that they were aiming at. And it was able to do that with astonishing precision, compared to what we have right now. It's, you know, um, I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, so I'm not even going to try guessing. But um, yeah, it compared to anything else at the time. It was effectively precision munitions. Um, and so it was significant. Um, Significant advantage that um, tried to keep secret. Like I said, the idea of the site was already known to adversaries before the war had started, but the actual internals, the mechanics and everything of it and how it worked, it was not widely known. So that was a big advantage that American bombers had over Germans and Japanese in World War II. It's a lot of the reason why. Oh, but it relied on visibility, clear weather, um, visible targets and stuff, which made the planes themselves visible targets as well. So it had advantages, but also clear disadvantages. So, mm, but yeah, um, you had to be um, top top tier of the top of the Army aptitude battery in order to qualify for officer training school and then on to bombardier training. But Grandpa was smart. So yeah, and now I have this. It's pretty cool. I can't really make it out real well, but you can see the wings there. There's a little bomb. That's a bomb there. There's another bomb in there between the wings. Um, so stone is clear. Stone's not what's worth of anything. It's the history and the sentimentality, but you know, the history. So there are people who make like memorabilia stuff, but that nobody makes the genuine the brass rings. Um, so yeah, mm,
That's pretty cool.
yeah.
To have that history. Uh,
No, drop, don't drop
uh,
history. I caught.
um, yeah, I don't want to slow you down, but go
Mm.
ahead. I'm letting you finish your show and tell. You have anything else? Because that was a nice
Do you
ring,
want
and
me
that
to
was a
show
nice
you more
story.
stuff?
If you got to, sure.
No, not really. I
No.
mean, not ready on hand. That
Okay.
was that was pretty much it. Yeah.
All
He
right.
was he had just graduated, just earned the ring right before the war ended. He did not get to be deployed. get to be deployed. He did not. He was not deployed. Yeah, that's a better way. He did not get to the
He didn't do any
point,
tours.
not get to the point of being deployed. Yeah, but the Norden bomb sites themselves are actually really interesting. They're something that were loaded into the airplanes separately from the whole thing. They were such top secret that they were kept under guard out. They were not, yeah, they were not part of the planes themselves. So you can see on the Wikipedia page, they've got a picture of the Norden bomb site next to the Enola Gay. So it's the bomb site that dropped the nuclear bomb next to the plane that it dropped from. And they lower this top secret thing out that had just dropped this other top secret thing. It's crazy. It's crazy. If they had all that top secret and managed to keep it out of prying eyes, what do they have now?
I don't want to think about it.
Oh
Yes.
man.
On that lovely thought, let's talk about something fun. Or, right? Yeah. Hope you have
All
something
right.
fun.
This might be fun to you because it's about another country and not this country.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Oh, okay. Yeah, London has a problem. It says London's naked bike ride has unlocked a new fear for people in the city. This was an article that came out yesterday. It says it's no secret that London has a reputation for being a little dirty. The London Underground is often criticized for its lack of cleanliness, and with videos circulating of people peeing on tube seats, it's no surprise many commuters are scared to sit down. But now a brand new fear has been unlocked for these traveling for people traveling around the city, and it's all to do with Santander cycles and Lime bikes. Londoners have been left feeling uneasy about using the public bicycle hire schemes after people rode on the rentals in the buff as part of a world naked bike ride. Mm. Uh, the naked
I
bike
would
ride,
never,
right? I'd never rent a bike from a company that I knew did that either. Uh,
I would
naked
never.
butts. Oh
Mhm,
man.
I would never want to ride a
Anyhow,
bike naked,
mhm.
I wouldn't want to ride a bike that other people rode naked.
especially that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I'll continue. It says the naked ride has been taking place in the capital for the last 22 years as a form of protest against car culture and global dependency on oil, all while celebrating bodily freedom. For 2026, more than 1,000 cyclists took part, and while many nude participants rode their own bikes, a large chunk were using rentals, which unsurprisingly people have slammed as in quote gross and disgusting. Talking to a user known as Brofessor Dumbledore asked people for their thoughts on an event, stating, I do wish they'd bring their own bikes. A good 50% put their bare arse on Santander and Lime bikes. One reply by Elegant Bob says, I worry about skid marks. Ooh, wee. And Tequila Squirrel agreed, saying, I'm fine with the event, but shared bikes? No. Fucking yuck. And as well as sweaty arse, there's fungal infections, etc. If the Santander bike at least put a small towel on the seat or something. Similarly, Okay personality 6630 confessed new fear unlocked, while outside parfait dash 8935 thought using using public bikes is absolutely gross. What the F? Nobody wants to share a bike seat with someone stranger with skid marks. That's the aspect of this I strongly object. Oh man. Others thought it was wild to use a shared bike for for an event and encourage people to with their bring sanitizer with them before using the bike next time. Many people were also keen to know. Many people were also keen to know whether TFL or Lime would clean all the bikes following the event. Yeah, as they felt it was unhygienic to leave them as is. A Lime spokesperson said to Metro, Lime bikes have become part of the fabric of London, with rather less fabric in evidence this weekend as usual. Um, as with any ride, for that people leave our bikes in, wait, we ask that people leave our bikes in the condition they'd want to find them. For safety reasons, we'd always encourage everyone to wear appropriate clothing when cycling. They added that Lime bikes, in quote, regularly get pressure cleaned with recycled rainwater, but did not specify when they were next due to be washed. Mm. As for the event itself, the organizers recommend that those taking part wear shorts for safety reasons, but they do not state that clothing is optional and people should, end quote, be as bare as they effing want to. They continue to urge those opting to having bare bottom to please cover the saddle of the bike they use for benefit of everyone. Right. Underneath this, they shared a list of bike hire options including London Bicycle Tour Company. A spokesperson for the company told Metro that all bikes used for the event were given seat covers, and once they were returned, underwent cleaning with particular attention paid to the saddle and the other rider contact points as part of a post hire maintenance process. They added, we take cleanliness and customer safety seriously. That's all.
That's
That is
gross.
right. The biking event naked. The event wasn't gross, but on the bikes for other people's bikes. I mean, you got to give those bikes back to people. That is disgusting. You even like if that's something I have to think about before riding it, I don't want to have to clean it. I want that to be their job. Uh,
I
I
don't
couldn't
want to be rubbing
imagine.
all my bits on some bike that has had somebody else sitting on it, period.
Yeah, that too. I didn't think about that part. Like skid marks and on the seat are tragic. Not that I know, but that's disgusting. Uh, yeah, you don't know who sat on that seat before you. Uh, yeah. So London has a problem. Mark, thoughts on
London
that?
has many problems, but yes. I'd
Uh,
prefer not to have thoughts on that. Uh,
understood
I was better before mm,
before you heard that.
yeah.
Gotcha.
Gonna have to disinfect my brain now.
Mm,
It's
yeah.
gonna make me want to disinfect my bike seat. I barely cleaned the seat. Never even thought about it. Now I do. Anyone could have sat on that seat and me not known. Yeah.
Well, it's yeah, just yeah.
I don't want to know
I got
what
nothing.
you're gonna say.
I got nothing.
Okay. Um, I got some Got something else right here though. I thought this was more interesting. Well, not more interesting than the last one, but I thought it was pretty interesting. It says 77% of workers are disengaged. Research points to why, and quote, follow your passion makes it worse. For most of recorded history, the question of whether one works should feel meaningless barely existed as a concept. Labor was survival. Today, and one of the most documented paradoxes of modern prosperity, hundreds of millions of people have eco- economic, economically secure jobs and report feeling profoundly disengaged from them. The question is why and whether science offers any remedy has quietly become one of the more productive research problems in organizational psychology. The numbers that frame this problem are striking. In its 2024 State of the Global Workplace Report, Gallup surveyed workers across more than 160 countries and found that 23% described themselves as genuinely engaged in their jobs. The remainder either passively disengaged themselves as genuinely engaged in their jobs. The remainder were either disengaged, present in body, but absent in motivation, or in a smaller subset, actively working against their employer's interests. In South Asia, the engagement rate was lower than at around 21%. Gallup also reported that highly engaged workforces are associated with 18% higher productivity and 23% greater profitability in their organizations. Though these are correlatal, cor- correlational findings, I think I said that right, uh, and do not establish engagement in the casual driver. The conventional self help response to this data, follow your passion, turns out to be, at best, incomplete advice. At worst, it may actively prolong the problem it claims to solve. The mindset problem. In 2018, psychologists Paul O'Keefe, Carol Dweck, and Gregory Walton at Stanford University published a study examining what they called implicit theories of interest, the beliefs people hold about whether interests and passions are fixed traits you discover or malleable ones you develop. Their findings, published in Psychological Science, suggested that people who held a, in quote, fixed theory of passion, the belief that interests are pre-existing and waiting to be found were more likely to give up on new areas of study when those areas became difficult. They expected passion to thrive fully formed, and when it didn't, they concluded the domain wasn't theirs. People who held a, end quote, growth theory of interest, by contrast, there were more likely to persist through difficult and more likely to see connections between their existing interests and new domains. The study did not establish that one mindset causes better long-term career outcomes. It was not a longitudinal career study, but documented a clear behavior pattern with plausible implications for how to approach vocational exploration. Computer scientist turned author Cal Newport in his 2012 book "So Good They Can't," end quote, "So Good They Can't Ignore You," had independently arrived at a similar critique. Newport argued that, end quote, "follow your passion" is the poor practical advice because it places an individual in a passive stance, waiting for internal signal that may never come, rather than building rare and valuable skills that can make almost any work engaging. His prescription, develop mastery first, and passion tends to follow is is directionally consistent with the O'Keefe et al. Findings. Though
O'Keefe et
Newport
al.
argument, huh?
O'Keefe et al. Basically meaning O'Keefe was the chief researcher in the research team, and et al. Is like N team et al. Latin for, or Latin abbreviation for, and the rest. N
You
team.
said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Finding through Newport's argument is made from case studies rather than controlled experiments. Flow, engagement, and the neuroscience of being absorbed, the experiential state that people often describe their work feels most meaningful, has a precise scientific name. Hungarian American psychologist Mahali, uh, I'm not even going to try to pronounce their last name, introduced the concept of flow in his 1990 book of the same name. Following decades of research into optimal experience, flow describes a state of complete absorption in a task characterized by a loss of self consciousness, distorted time perception, and an effortless sense of engagement that it incurs when a challenge level of a task is well matched to an individual's skill level. Tasks are too easy produce boredom. Tasks are tasks that are too difficult to produce anxiety. Flow occupies the corridors between. Um, I don't know how to pronounce this person's name again, but her first name is Mahali, but lower, it doesn't have her first name as her last name. Mahali's research team used the experience sampling method, signaling participants at random intervals throughout the day and asking them to report their current activity and subjective state to document when flow occurred in daily life. The resulting data suggested that flow was more commonly reported during work than during leisure, and counterintuitive, finding that challenged the assumption that people are most alive when they are not working. More recent neuroimaging research has added physiological texture to this picture. Studies examining states of high creative absorption have found associated patterns of deactivation in the default mode network of their brain regions associated with self-referential uh, thought. The mind wandering, the literature in this area is still developing, and casual interpretations remain contested. Flow as a construct also relies substantially on self-report, which introduces measurement limitations. The case against early specialization. Um, One structural barrier to finding meaningful work is limited exposure can be, to what work can be. Science writer David Epstein, in his 2019 book, Range: Why Generalists Triumph in a Specialized World, synthesized on research on expert development across sports medicine, music, and science to argue that early specialization in frequently disadvantaged. Epstein drew on studies of development to show that many world class performers sampled widely across domains in childhood and early adolescence before committing to a specialty, a pattern he called, end quote, sampling period. Athletes who specialized early frequently plateaued or experienced a burnout, while late specializers who spent longer exploring before committing more often reach elite levels in the long run. Epstein's book is a synthesis of existing research, not a single controlled study in some domains. Chess, classical music, do not appear to reward early specialization. But the broader pattern, he documents that breadth of breadth of early experience often predicts long-term adaptive capacity, has support from developmental psychology, research on the relationship between exploratory behavior and subsequent interest crystallization. Um, oh man, this article's okay. Yeah, there's a whole lot here that I can't read all that. It would take 20 more minutes. Um, you pretty much get the gist, though, right?
Mm.
People
I'm
aren't
gonna
happy
be
in these
honest.
jobs.
I kind of did not get it. Did not catch it.
You fading,
Kind of
Mark?
a little bit. Yeah, not sure. Not even sure what that article was about, to be honest. Trying to
Oh
figure.
yeah, I'm not going back.
Yeah.
It's move forward. Um, everybody out there, press that thumbs up button. Really helps. Um, I got another article here, Mark. This one's different. A good Samaritan hands back found 30,000 to owner who sold Pokemon collection to pay sister's medical costs. Leaving your phone in a public toilet is bad enough. Leaving behind $30,000, 22,000 pounds in cash is another level entirely. Luckily, the forgetful person in this story, the guy who went on to find that fat stack of cash, and then in quotes it says currency when it could just put one, uh, was the sort of person to do the right thing and hand it back. The anonymous 24-year-old Floridian who lost the money had stopped at a branch of convenience store and gas station Wawa in Palm Beach County earlier this month to use the restroom while driving to a family gathering. Tucked inside the black fanny pack was $30,023 in cash, which he had managed to raise by selling off a significant amount of his sizable Pokemon collection. The money was going towards paying for vital medical procedure for his sick younger sister. He doesn't have health insurance. However, after doing his business in the facilities, the young man left and drove off without the bag. When he realized what had happened, somewhere down the road towards Coral Springs, the panic began to kick in. When he returned to the convenience store, the fanny pack had vanished. The cash was gone. His heart sank. I thought I was absolutely screwed, the unidentified man told the Washington Post. But while this was all the markings of a grim life lesson, the outcome could not have come at a better time. Oh no, could not have been more different. Sorry. Police in Riviera opened a grand theft investigation after the missing bag was reported. Security footage showed 58-year-old Luis Stalovar leaving the bathroom carrying the fanny pack in one hand after finding it, handing it handing on the disabled support rail. According to spokesperson Mike Jacobs, Salivar searched the shop and car parking, trying to find the owner before leaving. Salivar later he got into the white Ford he was renting and checked inside the bag, hoping to find some identification. Instead, he found bundles of hundreds and $50 bills. My heart just dropped, he said. The construction worker said keeping the money never crossed his mind. $30,000 is great, but it's not mine to keep, Salivar said. I learned to earn my money rather the handbag, rather than hand the bag straight to the staff or police, Salazar tried to track down the owner himself because he didn't trust the money would find its way back otherwise. He remembered the man from the bathroom had dark curly hair, beige sandals, blue jeans, and a white shirt. A few days later, investigators identified Salivar through rental van he'd been driving. Officers contacted him on May 7th and asked him to come to the police station with the bag. When two men met, when the two men met, Salivar recognized the sandals immediately. "This is yours," he recalled saying. "You're a lifesaver," the younger man replied, feeling more than a little relieved. The owner counted the cash at the station. Every dollar was still there. He handed the money over to his sister for her treatment a few days later. Police eventually concluded the case was a lost property incident rather than a theft investigation at all. The 24-year-old offered to take Salazar out to dinner afterwards as a thank you. Salazar turned him down. "I just did the right thing," he said. "I don't need to be put on a pedestal."
Hmm.
That is very unusual
Yeah.
in today's age.
There's a feel good story.
Yeah. There are good people out there. Um, yeah. Thoughts on that?
I think
Selling,
a lot of people
selling.
would probably just take the money and run.
Just walk with it.
Yeah. I never came. I would have gave the person back their money. Um,
I would too.
Actually, I
I'm
don't
just
know what I
saying,
would have done at that time.
I think a lot of people wouldn't though.
Yeah. I can't say how I would react now that I think about it. I don't know. I can say I wouldn't. Me now, I wouldn't take the bag and not go turn it in. I would try to turn it in, but then, yeah, I don't know. I can't say what I would do if I was put in that position. Um, yeah,
It
but
is,
selling
you kind of
Pokemon
don't
cards
know
is what
what
caught
you're,
my attention.
yeah. And I mean, you can't say how you would react until you're put in that position for sure, but I would hope that most people would turn the money in, try to
Yeah.
find who it
Yeah,
belongs to. Because I mean, somebody's got to have a reason for walking around with 30 grand. Hopefully, it's for
right.
a good reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, for his sister's hospital bills. Good
That's
reason.
the most
Yeah,
wholesome
definitely.
reason I think I can possibly imagine for walking around with that much in cash.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know
It's
that young man was. I don't know what he's going through when he finds out that that cash was missing. I can imagine just stomach drop. I almost
Yeah, he
had it
had to be
all.
sick. He had to be
Uh,
sick.
yeah, and that definitely the investigation. While it probably definitely wasn't over one day. So yeah, I can just imagine him like, oh my goodness, I had it and I lost it all. Stopped on the way here. Um, yeah, that has to suck. Um, but the good people out there gave back $30,000. A Floridian at that. No, I'm just kidding. Not that they're worse than anybody else. Um, but Mark would know. Um, you ever left your phone or left anything in a public bathroom? Me personally, no. Um,
Not that I recall.
uh,
no, no big mix-ups like that. Nothing.
yeah, I remember the beginning. It said losing your phone is one thing, and that's why I asked that. I would not leave my phone in a public bathroom. That's gross. Do not take my phone out in a public bathroom. Uh, I don't understand people who use the phone while they're on the toilet. sitting there playing games and stuff like that. Disgusting. Your phone's gross. Makes me think I should wipe down my phone. I did not use my phone in the bathroom, but when I think about how dirty people's phones might be now, makes me want to wipe my own phone down. Um, Once again, I did not take the phone in the bathroom. Just throwing it out there. Uh,
Sure.
no, really, I did not.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't happen. Um,
Mhm. Mhm.
um, but what I could say is that I've seen something on the news, and it takes me to this article because a while back, people were there was a guy and there was a couple people who were just put up a fuss about cussing in the cartoons. Um, but those were parents, so I understand. Uh, there was another post we had on this, but this one's different right here, and it says cartoon cussing. What's up with the profanity in animated films these days? When commenting on the current state of entertainment industry, there are usually plenty of opportunities for soapbox spiel. Recently, however, is needed the box is needed not just as an elevated platform for the bars of soap required to clean out Hollywood's mouth. When it comes to the profanity damaging impact of today's entertainment on children, much of the criticism pertains to sexual elements in confusing and hypersexualized world. These worries are not ill placed. After all, do prepubescent children really need their fictional heroes to guide them through developing their teenage sexual identity? Christians and family audiences should let the sexual agenda off the book. But I wonder if our narrow focus has caused us to miss another recent trend emerging in Hollywood: the increase and use of profanity and objectional uh,
Objectionable.
objectionable. There we go. Learn language in animated films. Um, yeah, cartoons cussing. The increase in profanity in animated films is obviously relative. Disney movies haven't suddenly become the Wolf of Wall Street, and characters like Shrek aren't dropping f bombs left and right. Nevertheless, as a movie reviewer who is a parent, there has been a noticeable increase in unwanted language. Speaking of lovable green ogre, I remember when the original Shrek film shocked audiences with the boundary pushing gag in which Shrek, referring to Donkey, declared as, "I have to save my own ass." I remember that. At the time, it was an edgy joke that smuggled adult language into the family film. These days, the clever script writing gymnastics have been tossed aside for more direct approach. Films like Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse now include characters saying, end quote, maybe get off the kid's ass. Uh, in the Puss in Boots Last Wish movie, the hero feline utters, what the hell? And the recent Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mayhem use hell as well as several other minor profanities. Um, Dick or piss me off. Um, that's a bad word to put in a cartoon, but yeah, a end quote a swear but not a swear gag used in Shrek has also been recycled. Movies like DC League of Super Pets and Puss in Boots have featured scenes in which cute animated characters deliver heavily profane but bleeped out tirades or have their swears interrupted but before completion. What once was boundary pushing has become commonplace. Blurry audience lines. There are likely several reasons for this recent trend. Neil Postman's uh, prophetic book, The Disappearance of Children in 1982. Richard rightly predicted a blurring of audience lines due to television, whereas literature had built-in gatekeeping mechanic of literacy, visual entertainment, television, and cinema is accessible to all. An outworking of that reality, as I explored a previous article, how children's entertainment became an ideological battleground, is that there has also been a culture shift in the animation is no longer understood to be synonymous with, in quote, for children. The thematically, um, mature storytelling from Pixar Studios pioneered that shift. And more recent studies, movies such as Spider Verse films have cemented it by using immersive animation to tell complex stories that transcend a single audience demographic. As a result, in several of the reviews of movies in which I noted the unnecessary language, I received some quick and occasionally heated pushback that the real problem is my own narrow minded and outdated understanding of animation. Perhaps there is some truth to that argument, but it's also true that while general adult audiences are warming up to the potential of animated films, the creatives and studios making these movies are clear about their demographic. The way the movies are marketed, the time of the year they're release and the competition against which they are offer, end quote, counter programming are all designed to draw young viewers to the theater. Adults are cherry on top, but family audiences remain chocolate cake itself. At Hollywood box office, animated movies sink or swim on the back of family audience, as several significant box office flops have demonstrated these films cannot succeed without a family audience. This is why it is perplexing to watch as Hollywood increasingly includes content such as profanity that seems designed to appeal more to the secondary audience than the primary one. Um, I think some of this I might not have picked up on. I haven't watched Shrek in a long time. Maybe I don't remember, but that could be disturbing to the parents. Letting your children watch movies and then you hear someone drop an F bomb. Uh,
Yeah, I would think so.
um, I don't think my kids are watching cartoons. Yeah. Mark, what do you think about cartoons having the cussing and exposing kids to
Uh,
cussing early?
bullshit. It's absolute bullshit. For children's cartoon writers cannot write engaging, funny, educational, informational, friendly programming without resorting to little tricky things to kind of, you cheap laughs. And a
Yeah.
lot of the laughs are kind of I don't know, there's this psychological phenomenon that has been identified where people laugh when they're um kind of uncomfortable or awkward. And um a lot of times people can mistake that, the fact that they're laughing kind of uh instinctively they'll think, oh, I'm laughing must be because it's funny and stuff. So a lot of uncomfortable situations, awkward situations are seen as funny. That's the entire reason that cringe comedy exists and works the office would not be a thing if it were not for that mechanic. So, starting to try, figuring out that that is a thing, that it works, and that we can slowly, you know, slip it in, get, little bits for the parents too, that the kids won't catch on to, right? I mean, if the parents need a cheap laugh like that to stay engaged with your plot line, then you're a bad writer. I'm sorry. No, 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 I'm not
They're
sorry. No, no, I'm not. Yeah, I take that back. I'm not sorry. Yeah, if you
their
can't,
target audience, that is irritating because my kids are in that target audience. They're
yeah,
not necessarily getting my kids, but I don't remember those, so that doesn't mean it didn't happen. I might have not liked it at the time, but I don't like it because it's on the news these days. They're still throwing a fuss, not throwing a fuss, but not doing riots, but they're protesting. There we go. Um, Trying to get whatever company that is over there to stop making cartoons. It's something in LA, some recording studio down there. Yeah, they're putting up a fuss. They don't want them to keep making cartoons, which isn't going to stop, regardless to
no.
people protesting.
There's so
Uh,
much of a market for adult animation, and I mean, rightly so. I think it's incredible. It's a new form of media that I think is simply a natural outgrowth of our generation having grown up being placed in front of a television to kind of placate us for a while, sitting here watch these cartoons. We kind of grew up with that as a thing, whereas a lot of earlier generations did not to the same extent. It was not um, Hanna-Barbera stuff anymore. It was actually just geared for kids. What would kids want to see? And then show it to them. And then, as those
Throw
kids
something
grow
in there every
older,
now and then.
would they, it's still those kids, the same kids. They're just not kids anymore. The millennials, that's when you start getting like Adult Swim and,
Yeah.
what would those kids want? And then as they got older, adult animation also started to change and grow and stuff. But it doesn't mean the animation doesn't also still appeal to those kids either. So I don't know. I don't know if they're going to protest like, well, yeah, Adult Street, Williams Street, or Adult Swim, Williams Street is over in Atlanta, so that can't be who they're protesting. But whoever it is that they're protesting, it's like, I agree. Yeah, it's not gonna
Yeah, one of
stop.
those studios in Los Angeles. I don't know which
But,
one it is.
Disney,
Or I forgot.
Pixar, DreamWorks, you know, clean up your act. Anything that you make like actually specifically entirely geared towards children. I mean, do it that
Oh,
way. Don't try to slip in, little sneaky ooh for the adults. I've as an adult have watched and been engaged in stories that, don't need little cheap jokes in order to be entertaining enough, right?
I
That's what
think
we
there's
yeah.
grew up with.
definitely a way to still make it entertaining for the parents without throwing cuss words in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I was agreeing with the dude on the news. I agree. You're worried your kids watching stuff, and yeah, they've been talking about this on the news for like 2 weeks. Those guys don't want to leave the studio, uh, or it might be a studio or wherever it is. It's a company building, or yeah, yeah. Being that my kids are older, they're not watching those cartoons. They do know about Rick and Morty. I think everybody knows about Rick and Morty. Um, yeah, but that's about it. My kids are pretty much either playing video games, uh, my boys. Yeah,
I mean, Rick and Morty is pretty raunchy.
yeah. They know about it. I'm not sure if they're watching it, but I've said Rick and
Well,
Morty, and I've heard them use it in talking.
they
So
are
obviously, they might
talking
have seen
about
it
it, then
somewhere.
they've watched it. They know about it.
Yeah, I know they've seen it somewhere. I haven't
Yeah.
seen them like sitting around watching it. So yeah,
Mm,
I'm what you call part-time co-parent because I'm not the one with the custody.
mm.
Actually, I've never went to court for custody, so I think I still do have. Never mind. But yeah, the shows they did kind of change with our generation, like you were saying. They changed because Adult Swim came out, and I was like 10, uh,
Well,
I
I think
think.
it changed before that. I think it was with Nickelodeon. That's kind of where the shift broke from the kind of goody two shoes Hanna-Barbera stuff. Disney and
Cartoon Network had Adult Swim at night, so
only in
that's
the
what caught
later
me.
part of the 90s. And it was only
Yeah,
after Disney had uh, lost a lot of ground to Nickelodeon. Nickelodeon came in with, like Ren and Stimpy. Compare Ren and Stimpy to anything Disney or Rocco's Modern Life.
Beavis and Butthead.
Well,
right.
That's
that
I
when I
was gonna
was
say
remember
that.
growing up.
that was MTV. MTV was the devil. So
Um,
that was not where the good families put their kids.
Well, no.
But
well, King of
I
the
just
Hill.
remember watching Beavis and Butthead and Ren and Stimpy when I was like in high school.
yeah. Ren and Stimpy was on Nickelodeon, but Beavis and Butthead was a little too far. But I think maybe
What
Beavis
about
and
King of the
Butthead
Hill?
King of the Hill was CBS, I think, is mainstream television. King of the
That
Hill.
was a good one.
Yeah, there were other animation television. I think Nickelodeon proved that it could work not just as a purely child marketed oriented thing. Um, yeah.
Yeah, Adult Swim took it to the next level.
Yeah.
Especially when I watch Rick and Morty now, my mother, she's usually dying in the background because she's like, "Oh my goodness," she does that a lot. Oh wow, what are they talking about? And she'll like peek around the corner, and she was like, "Isn't that a cartoon?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Rick and Morty is crazy. They let kids watch that?" And I was like,
Uh,
No, but kids
not
do
all of
watch
them.
it. They don't, not all of them. Yeah. So, yeah, it is a little much. Uh, because Grandpa Rick, he's relentless.
I mean,
Uh,
yeah, the fact that it's rated TV
Pickle Rick.
14 these days, honestly, it would have been TVMA when those whole like TV rating scheme things came out. I think the whole standard has shifted
That's what I was
significantly.
gonna say. Um, I was watching a show yesterday and I seen that it said PG um, for coarse language, and I was thinking if you're gonna put coarse language, you might want to go up a level. Uh, but they do not. They will let children watch something with parental guidance, and they'll use coarse language. It's not a problem these days. Yeah.
Well, what they define as coarse language depends, you know.
There was a lot of bleeps in the show I was watching. They were bleeping, but they tried. But still, they don't bleep on the cartoons that they're showing to the children. Uh, yeah. But this other show, I was like, how is this rated PG? And they say rated PG obviously is, yeah, you can say certain words. Uh, like Shrek said ass. Um, yeah, Shrek said a few things with me growing up. Uh, yeah, the watch my own ass thing. I remember that as a kid. Um, oh yeah. But the Ninja Turtles and the Puss in Boots, that's after my time. Uh,
Yeah.
so you guys don't agree that it should not be in the movies and the cartoons for the children. I do not. Um,
What?
I'm not gonna have any more children, but mine now. I don't like that it does that. I don't go to the movies often, but when I do, and it's usually with the kids, and they
Yeah,
usually pick the movie.
yeah, keep it
Um,
clean for the kids. Make sure that what you market
Transformers.
as kids stuff is kid stuff. Um,
Transformers, they use a lot of words.
well, Transformers, they rate PG-13, so it's not technically for kids.
Okay. Yeah. Um, guess it isn't technically for kids. Uh,
13's
yeah.
still a kid.
Yeah.
Teenager.
Still a child. I'm
Mm,
sorry.
yes, definitely. Up until 25, they're all still children.
Until your brain is fully formed, which is not at 18.
Um, yeah. So, um, oh yeah, the one in Puss in Boots, it says maybe get off the kid's ass.
Yeah, that's not
Uh,
even trying to be clever. That's just what. Uh, mm,
Ninja Turtles, they say hell a lot. That's what it says.
mm.
Now I got to start paying attention if we do watch movies that are cartoons. I never really did. Not that it sucked to me. Not that anything that I can remember. We probably have, but my memory of that isn't there right now. Until I seen that guy protested for it, I was like, okay, maybe
Yeah,
this is something to look into, something to pay
the
attention to
Disney
now.
Disney ones tend to be pretty safe from the language, is from what I've seen.
I would agree.
Uh, is Shrek part of Disney?
I believe that's Pixar.
Pixar.
Okay, cool. They don't ruin Disney for the children. Good to know. Uh,
But I believe Pixar is a like a subsidiary, that might not be the
Subsidiary.
right word, of Disney.
Mm, something. Yeah.
yeah, Disney doesn't want to run off their audience or get anybody protesting outside their studios. Uh,
Yeah.
they'd probably just call the cops, woo them off. But can they do that if they have a private protest? I mean, a quiet riot. I forgot
Mm,
what they called it. where they do
picked
the silent
one.
protest, move, don't let anybody go in the parking lot.
Mm.
Uh, yeah, too much. But now that I'm seeing this a lot, now I'm been starting to think you got to pay attention more. Uh,
Mm.
yeah. Then you can't be mad when you let your kids watch this stuff. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna watch it before them because obviously we're gonna be at the movies together. Uh,
Might
it's
require a talk
it's
after the movie's over.
oh man, that someone else has to be there because
Ask, yeah,
I
ask
remember
Evan what's in it.
I just took my 11 and 13-year-old to see the Michael Jackson movie, and they had some words in there. But then by the time it was over, I forgot about it. So I don't remember exactly the words to tell them don't use because I had forgot. If there was someone else there, I might have been like, "Oh yeah, don't say that" when they remind them or whatever. But I don't remember exactly what was said as soon as the movie was over. It's the story I heard of growing up, and they just basically put a movie with it. I was like, "Oh yeah, heard about that. Heard about that." Yeah, but that also wasn't a Disney movie. That was I forgot what movie. It might have been PG-13. Uh, so yeah, maybe my 11-year-old shouldn't have been there. Uh, yeah, I got something else here. Uh,
Can we call it a day here, actually?
oh, we sure can. I will keep this article ready.
Yeah.
Everybody out there, thanks for watching In Seizn Podcast. And have a good day.
Thanks for coming.
Yay. Bye.
Right. I love the yay mark.